Welcome to episode 194 of the MailleWerX. Oh no, mic's on. Mic's actually on. So welcome to episode 194 of the MailleWerX Chainmail live streams. My name's Sean. I run MailleWerX.com, where you can find all your chainmail themed apparel and accessories that your heart desires. How is everyone tonight? What are you guys up to? What's up, Rick? It's about ready to start and I'm here on time. Nice. Hey, David, how you doing? All right. Wow, I thought I was set up. I am not set up. What am I doing? I'm gonna need rings if I'm gonna work on this. Okay. We might actually get through the rest of these black rings tonight. You're doing well, not counting Monday. You're in that difficult part of the world where everyone's having problems right now, right? So I'm going to take a look at this real quick. It's easier to kind of see some of this stuff through the camera. Right? I need to move this over. Which one? Up here. I need to move this over. All of it. Go back to that. Hey Barb, how you doing? Kind of playing, what's the game? I'm just shuffling rings around is all I'm doing right now. That's all I can manage. It's not. I want it to look correct. Like the picture, you know. And that's just gonna take shuffling things around until it's right. Monday was a problem in your school. You have like a shoulder bag on and lots of charms. So someone from your class side still has charms. Oh man. And your stuff messed with sucks. Now they've taken... Wait. Nope, that will be a black ring. I do not appreciate it when people mess with my stuff at all. Hey Peg, how you doing? You're gonna go, okay, so I've got David over on Twitch, and someone stole his charms off his bag, and him and his friends are gonna deliver justice. That's what it sounds like. Well, be careful. You're 16 the living daylights out of rings this evening? That sounds counterproductive. I hate it when I do that. Come on. There you go. You want to go in there. Go in your home. Now I need a green ring. You almost fought him by yourself on Monday? Oh. Well, be careful. So, I don't know if anybody saw, if you looked at my Facebook or my Instagram, you would see that I got the front page of the MailleWerX app completed. And I wouldn't say it's 100% yet, but a big portion of that is done. And that took a lot of hours to get it to look like that. So there are some functional issues that I gotta finish. But once I'm done, I hope to be done by the end of the week. I will get it published to Google and to Apple as quick as possible. And then everyone can download it, check it out, tell me what you think. And it'll be potentially, this is the whole point of it, is for it to be, one, a hub for everything that I do, live streams, social media, all that jazz. But two, a resource for new mailers. Weaving some jumbo rings tonight. How's folks doing? I think everyone's doing okay. So I'm excited. I'm excited to have that done, because once that's done, it's basically it becomes a maintenance project at that point. At that point, you know, just do updates on it once a week and call it a day. Alright. David says, like, I'm not the one who should be careful with him. He tries to act like he's strong because he has karate lessons for 3 years. He doesn't remember anything of it. Alright, well, don't beat him up too bad, okay? Alright. I gotta look at this from above. Kind of. Not really. Maybe if I... Alright, I'm going to try to just get this angle to look right. And then I'll work on the bottom part, and that should make it look a little more like what it should look like. Yeah. I remember in middle school, I was getting up from the lunch table, and this other kid I went to school with got up at the same time, and we were at different tables, and we backed up. Hey, Chip, how you doing? And I remember him turning around, and he took his lunch tray, and okay, this is like 6th grade, okay? He took his lunch tray, and he smeared it all over my hoodie that I was wearing, because I had bumped into him, and he acted like he was dying, right? And this kid stood a foot taller than me. He's like, he told me that he was a 2-time Golden Glove from whatever boxing class he was in, and threatened to beat my ass. It was one of those, I mean, I was half his size. So, I mean, it's not an exciting story. Like, that's the end of it. Nothing happened. I didn't fight anybody. But that was probably one of the only times I was ever bullied in school. And I had just moved from a private school to a religious school like 2 or 3 years prior. And so I wasn't used to those kinds of high intense interactions. I couldn't have fought him if I had wanted to. Mostly because at that point in time, I did not know how. I mean, you know, a 6th grader getting all fisticuffs and whatnot. It's not... It doesn't look like an MMA fight. Let me just put it that way. So fast forward, I don't know, sophomore year of high school. I got to watch this same asshole kid, and he was an asshole all throughout school, get the shit kicked out of him by one of our other classmates, who was twice his size. And, you know, I felt a great sense of satisfaction from that ass whooping he received. It's like, karma delivered justice, I guess. I'm not very much of a fighter. I have been in fights. I wrestled in high school. I have competed. But I am too old for that crap anymore. I have been injured too many times. I am not... Like, if someone threatens me... There we go. I lost that ring. I am more than prepared to defend myself using anything and everything. Take that however you want. Okay. Chip's good. Here we call persons that want to fight but run from it. Quarter of a punch. I would have been a quarter of a punch in that 6th grade lunchroom. I was not prepared to defend myself in any meaningful way. I would have just got my ass handed to me. I want to take this ring out first. So. Karma has a way of doing that in her own time? Yeah. I mean, wait, his name was Steven. He got, you know, black eyes and a broken nose, and I'm surprised Lance, the other kid, didn't put him in the hospital. And then their 2 older brothers fought. And Lance's older brother whooped Steven's older brother's ass. It's like, why are they fighting? They didn't have anything to do with it. I always thought that was dumb, but whatever. What do I know? What do I know about vengeance and brotherly love? He was an odd kid in school that invited folks to come over and beat on each other, PVC wrapped in pool noodles and duct tape. Afternoons were 5 to 8 kids flailing around in the backyard. See, now that I would have gotten in on. Does that need to be green? No. When I was a kid, I used to make my own weapons. I successfully made a blowgun and a bow and arrow. Let's see here. Do I have the right pen for it? Okay. Think of a regular Bic pen, right, with just the white tube. So that was the blowgun, okay? And then I took pins from a sewing kit and tied like an inch of yarn around them, and you put them in the end of the blowgun, and works like a charm, right? Then I did successfully make a bow and arrow. I tried to make a knife. I had a piece of galvanized steel that I took to a grinder. I don't know if anyone... If you don't know, don't add heat to galvanized steel. Right? Working on alligator tonight. Adding heat to galvanized steel can be very bad for you. Okay, how is that looking? It just looks like this comes down instead of these two crossing. Maybe if I do this. Got a few classmates in making mail. Only one ever made a full shirt. Most stopped at a wrist cuff, but talked about shirts. Yeah. Get a PVC pipe wrapped in foam and duct tape. It's, you know why they stopped at wrist cuffs and didn't go on to make shirts? Because they didn't have my app on their phone. That's why. I'm telling you. Once you get all the resources and you know what's out there. You have a PVC pipe wrapped in foam and duct tape in your prop room right now. It was a second sword form you made. Nice. Okay, how does that... It's not great, but it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. Okay? I'm going to run with this. This coming down here, and this crossing underneath. And this comes down here and goes... Maybe I should put a yellow ring there. There and there. Let's do that. You made a kite in cardboard Atari Center as a kid? Nice. My dad and I made a box kite when I was really young. And it flew. For some reason, my dad had this giant ream of paper. It was 5 feet wide. I don't know where he got it from. And the paper was like 1/8 of an inch thick, right? So it's some heavy duty paper. I don't know what they printed on it or what it was used for. But we took some of that and some dowels you get from the craft store, and we made a box kite out of it. Like Mail in 6th grade when he saw a tin pipe that was mounted to the wall a couple times. Jeez, that's rough for a 4th grade, dude. You live in a rough area though. You know, to be fair. But the kids tend to break half of them over the summer and we repair them in the winter. Half of your foam PVC swords, yeah. That'll happen. They were pulling your sister's hair, bullying her, yeah. Not that we don't have rough areas here in the States, but... Okay, how... I think that... This comes in back here. I think I'm gonna stick with that. I like that better. Alright, you made a catapult out of a huge rubber band stapled to some wood with a cutout in. You bend paper clips into a hook shape and fire them at cars going past the house. Oh, speaking of firing stuff at cars going past the house, I did also make a slingshot with my grandpa. Best kite you ever built was like 7th grade out of sticks from the tree and newspapers. So like 24, where am I at here? Dang thing was the best kite you had until 24 when the two-handled almost making you leave the ground kites. Yeah, I've seen a few of those. Alright, so what part is this on? That is, okay, so this, there's a line in here somewhere that we need to, so this comes across, it's right here. Oops. That just keeps going straight. Out. You were getting beat up by 5th graders? Yeah. I never successfully made a catapult. I do have a catapult kit on order that me and my son are going to put together. We have successfully put together and painted the helicopter that we got. And I don't know if the catapult is the next item, but it's a order. You order. It's a monthly subscription, and you get the pieces to build something, and you glue it together, and then paint it, and then put decals on it. So one of them is a catapult. I don't know when it'll be here. Slingshot and crab apples got you into so much community service. Nice. Yep. Yeah, I am not much more proficient at making weapons than I was when I was making all of those. I have not tried to make a weapon since then. I have wanted to. The whole here's the funny story. The whole start of MailleWerX was to raise money to buy an anvil and forge, right? And I've spent I should have just gone out and bought the anvil and forge. It would have been way cheaper. So I am hoping this summer, actually. Cloth pin crossbows are sweet. Little popsicle creation. Just don't use toothpicks. They will put your eye out. I just spat. Sorry. Wrong color. Any neighbors you don't really like? Is that why the catapult is coming soon to a backyard owned by you? It's a small catapult for like marshmallows and stuff. And toy cars and whatever else can fit in the bowl it has. It's not anything significant. He's 7. He doesn't quite need medieval siege weapons just yet. One day. Okay. Yeah. In Minecraft, right, David? Pumpkin chucking, those are cool videos to watch. You're never too young for medieval siege weaponry. No, and I mean, the way things are going, we may need them sooner rather than later, to be honest. And the way things are going, they may be the only things we have left, to be quite honest. I want to take this out. That angle is not quite correct. Junkyard Wars and Lady pelts herself in the face with a melon is what you now think of any siege weapons and fruits and veggies. Yeah. That video, I cringe every time I see that video and laugh and I feel bad all at the same time. Okay, David, you're mentioning a lot of words that I can't repeat. Okay? Because I'm not going to put my channel at risk to discuss those certain things. I appreciate you being here, bud. And I realize that we're discussing a topic similar to what you're talking about, and I don't want you to feel left out, bud. We're going to have to stop talking about that particular thing. You loved you some Junkyard Wars? Yeah. Was that on Discovery? Is that on with, like, Mythbusters? Mythbusters? I know how to talk. Speaking of Junkyard Wars and Discovery Channel and Mythbusters, there was a recent TikTok trend to, I don't know, ride the coattails of Adam Savage. And so I'm going to do that now. Talking about buy once, cry once mentality. And Savage's rebuttal was, you know, buy the tool that gets you where you need to go for as cheaply as possible, and when it breaks, buy the next better tool. like mail that you're just saying? Yeah. Still with Mythbusters, they delighted in blowing stuff up? Yeah. Dave is learning electricity for when he's 6'7", and is going to do some remote control stuff. That is one thing I never learned was electronics. They elude the crap out of me. Got 11,000 stainless order in the other day. 6,018 SW 3/16, 2018 gauge, 5/16 and 3,016. Yeah. Nice. That's a good order. Now, is that for distribution over there across the pond, or is that one person's specific order? Yeah, Mythbusters would be an awesome job. I am not that creative, and I'm not that intelligent, or charismatic, or good looking. So I do this instead. And then I'm also going to bolster all of those features about myself which I'm lacking by bringing other people on and interviewing them to compensate for my inadequacies. So I'll get there. I'll be as entertaining one day. Where the hell was I working? Oh. And I'm sure there's a bunch of interviews with Adam and Jamie, and you know, they had their own show that not quite the focus that I want to focus on, but a similar vein, you know. All right. Sounds like January with all them rings. Glad they're a shirt now. Yeah. You repair CB radios, DVD, VHS. Nice. Like all when you were younger, or do you do that now? I never got how people talk on the radio. Like in the military, we do it a specific way. Like a 9-line medevac is a specific format. Don't ask me what it is, because I have no recollection. It's not like truckers. Yeah, all for you. You got through 4,000, 18 gauge 3/16 since September. That's not bad. It's a nice big stainless order. Okay. Let's have a look-see. Where was I working? Down here? See this, comes down here, right, goes up there, goes through, goes here. Yeah, that works, right? I might take that ring out and then wrap it up in black. That is a nice hefty order. I cannot wait to really get to a point where I get to work on new projects again. I did a Stitch TikTok video tonight right before stream. I just put it up about all the projects I have laying around. And I don't know, maybe someone will find it interesting. I didn't exactly have a lot of time to, you know, write out a script or make any changes. I just shot the video, which I think is what you're supposed to do. What is a 9-line medevac request? When he was younger, about 6-7 years old, he started doing it. Now you don't, but want to still learn about electronics. Nice. Forms described by the National Center for Biotechnology Information as the report and request for resources used once it is determined there is a need to evacuate patients. Yeah. And when I was in the military as a medic, we had to memorize that, and I couldn't tell you what it was to save my life. You got a huge show this weekend, been making stock, plus you do a weekly market as well. Nice. My to-be-completed pile is larger than the finished pile. Yeah. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. I've got... Well, I've mentioned this to you guys before. I've got a couple patches of 4-in-1, a large attempt at a shirt that I have to get back to, some scale mail that I want to finish, but everything else is, I got to add leather to the belts and the guitar straps and tool that out and make sure it all works correctly. And then I have a bunch of like loose chains that are started that I need to finish, and everything else is just piles of rings that I got to get through. So it's not the biggest pile. It's decreased significantly since I started streaming, so that's a good sign. Just stuff I want done and out of the way. Alright, let's have a look. Yeah, that looks good. Right here is where we were working. I like it. What's going on under this E? It's just all gold or all yellow? No? I know I said that I was going to order more rings last night, right after the stream, but guess what I didn't do? I didn't order more rings right after the stream. This comes off the E, like... right here? My, well, that didn't work pile of rings is probably the biggest thing in the work area. Sometimes you tear stuff down, sometimes you go to a festival and hand stuff out. Nice. John ends up with piles of rings for this one, but won't work for that one, so you gotta make more, and then you make too many, you come up with a new project, it ends up needing more rings. Yeah. Does anyone have a good tutorial for elf weave? No. Not off the top of my head. I used what the hell was the name of the website? CGmail.com. But I think that that's down, and all of his work got moved to Mail Artisans International. I think. But that was, God, 100 years ago. You have a question to everyone who has a car. Are there any good accessories to buy the car? I'm thinking about buying. All right. David has a question for everyone who has a car. Are there any good accessories to buy for the car? And you're thinking about buying accessories, or you're thinking about buying a car? I've done a lot of elf weave. I love elf weave. Not to brag, I realize 2 people just said that they're having problems with it, but it's you can get it. You make a 1-in-1 chain, and then you weave them into elf weave. And I know that... Sorry. I feel like I just came across as a huge asshole. I can do elf weave. I've done a lot of it. Yeah, outside of the Mail Artisans tutorial, I don't know of a good one. To get it started is a pain in the ass, but I find that with my elf weave, my interwoven 4-in-1, and my half Persians, both 4 and 3-in-1, if I just keep going, if I just keep putting rings in, kind of the way the tutorial says, I eventually get it right. Accessories, because you have BMW E39 with 140,000 miles on it. Are there any good BMW accessories? I've never owned a BMW. The only accessory I have for my truck is an ice scraper. I don't have anything else. I was never had the money for cars. Alright. Sounds like how you do hoodoo? Yeah. Never heard of the 1-in-1 chain to elf weave, only the VB or 4-in-1 that way. Okay. Sounds like how you do hoodoo. Accessory, okay. NTA, everyone has weaves they're good at and weaves they're not good at. Tend to start off elf weave at the end of 4-in-1, a strip. Okay, yeah. A strip 3 rows wide. It's like half Persian 3-in-1. You can do a stretchy blade in 15 minutes, yeah. You have a pair of chainmail dice in your car hanging off the rearview mirror? Yeah. Alright. David, I only put money into my vehicle if I need to keep it running. I'm going to be honest. I've never had a fancy enough car to warrant putting rims on or getting it painted or hell, even washing the damn thing. So all my cars have been used beaters. It's cat time. All right, Rick, have a good night. Thanks for swinging by. As long as my vehicle runs, I don't... Oh, come on. I've put enough money into keeping my vehicle running that the only way I would do anything to it is if I was well off enough to warrant doing something with it. Use a washable oil filter. Air filter and laser spark plugs, about as fancy as you get. Yeah. So I have, what year is my truck? It's 2011. It's the V6 EcoBoost with the twin turbos on it. And it shits and gets far greater than any other vehicle I've owned, so That's fast enough for me. I just jacked that up real bad. With rims, it was an all accident, but about accessories, you know, I'm only going to get those leather carpets. You're going to get leather carpets for your BMW? I mean, you know, if it's a nice car and it's worth keeping clean to you, you know, there's nothing wrong with seat covers or getting protective stuff to keep it going. So you're like a dash cover or floor mats or whatever, just to keep it clean. I'd put money into that, but I've never owned a car nice enough to worry about that, so. Okay. Where are we at here? Look at all this, right? Where are we off to next? Getting towards the end here. And like I said, I didn't order any more black rings, so we're gonna move to a new project for a little bit. Floor mat? Is that not what the McDonald's wrappers become? That's funny. Wrong color ring. That's a 98, and the engine is a 2.5 liter R6. Nice. They put them in off-road cars, like rally racing. I always wanted to do that. I wanted to do the Baja 500. I would love to do the Baja 500 in a retro modded International Scout 2, right? If you don't know what an International Scout 2 is, it looks like a Bronco or a K5 Blazer. It's just a big square truck or SUV, right? And I happen to think that it's the coolest, but other people have their opinions about it. They're wrong, though. But there's a group up in Washington or Oregon, I don't remember, called IH Only North. You can go to their website. It's ihonlynorth.com for International Harvester. And they make parts and they restore Internationals and do all kinds of fun stuff with them. And if I came into large sums of money, That is, I would have a very nice rebuilt, resto-modded International Scout 2 in my driveway. That's about the only car I ever got into. I owned one. I've owned two. One ran. On the rally, not only rally, but in the extreme off-roads. Okay. Oh, wrong color again. Toys with engines in them are fun. And I do have a side of me that enjoys that, but all of my money has gone to Chainmail, pretty much. And I mean, I have a Harley too, so there is that. That is a fun toy. I had a buddy in high school, he was really into Porsches. His dad was also really into Porsches. My brother-in-law's got a Mustang, Renee's got a Corvette. You know, nothing wrong with a fast car, but I like big, ugly SUVs. Just, you know, something you can throw a ton of shit into and then drive somewhere off the beaten path. And I've got that now with my truck. My truck can pretty much go 90% of any area I want to go to. So, I need a camper for it though. I really should do that. Plus, I want to put a camper on it before I get it wrapped. Sorry, I'm looking at this. This is like, all right. Love your 96 Chevy Suburban. Third seat with so much seating. Yeah. Yep. If you gave me the money, you'd get a 1975 Jensen Interceptor MK111. It's a UK car. No. That is a car I have never heard of. One day, we'll all be rich. I don't know, probably not, but you know, we can dream, right? If money was no object, what kind of car would you buy? I would have a collection of internationals. And if money would there are 3 vehicles that I would go out and buy right now if I had the money. Excuse me. The new Bronco, an F-250 with the 6.7 liter engine in it, 7.2 liter, something. I'd have to look up how big the engine is, but it's a V8 with 6 point something or 7 point something liters. So, F-250, Bronco, and International Scout 2s until I ran out of room to store them. Alright, David, have a good night. Thanks for hanging out, man. 6.3 V8 big block engine. Soft top interceptor. Okay. Batmobile, original, and Dark Knight. Nice. There you go. My son and I put together a little die-cast Batmobile from the original movies. If you're car boring, you'd probably get a Jeep Wrangler. There's nothing wrong with the Jeep Wrangler, except for the people that drive them. I mean, no, Wrangler's a fun vehicle. Renee had a Liberty for a while. Good little vehicle. I mean, if I came into a bunch of money, I'd like to think, that a lot of my efforts would go towards philanthropy. So, there's nothing wrong with a boring car. Internationals aren't sexy or anything. I just think they're cool. Designed by Bill Schmidt and John Najjar, the car was hand-built in Italy by Carrozzeria Ghia Coach Builders. No, John Jensen Interceptor was a UK-built hardtop. Interesting. Getting down to the last little bit of black rings here. I've had 2 internationals, 1 ran, 1 didn't. I've had 2 Harleys, Sportster and my Road King that I have now. 2 Hondas, 2 Honda motorcycles. An XL350, which is an Enduro, and a Honda Shadow, little 750 Honda Shadow. That didn't run for shit. About the extent of other than that, my first car was a burnt orange 1980 Ford Fiesta. My second car was a 92 Geo Metro that had 4 cylinders, but only 3 of them ever ran. My car after that was a little Nissan pickup truck. Hey Kevin, how you doing? You know, the nicest vehicle I've had is my truck right now, my F-150. Before that, I had a Mitsubishi Diamante, which was a dumb purchase because I was living in Louisiana at the time, and it's a black car with a black interior. Okay, so for starters, Louisiana is a terrible place in general, and then also having a black car with a black leather interior in Louisiana is miserable. And then shortly after I got the car, I was stationed in San Antonio, Texas, which is 1,000 degrees, and it's humid, and a black car with a black interior does not do well there either. That was a lesson I had to learn. I'll never have a black car again, that's for sure. And I'll never have a leather interior again. As long as my vehicles get me from point A to point B, I'm okay with whatever they are. I plan on driving my truck for another 10 years, so. Since your knee replacement, life's been dream-filled from the hydrocodone, but recovery's going well. Oh, well, I'm glad you're doing better. I'm glad you got the surgery done, and that's over. I hope the hydrocodone's covering up all your pain. What other shit boxes did I drive? The little Nissan pickup, right? I drove that from DC to Illinois and back, and then I drove it down to Louisiana, and then I sold it to someone who wasn't getting deployed, and then all of a sudden they were on the list to get deployed with the unit, and then they sold it to their mom, and when as we got back, Katrina and Rita hit Louisiana, and that truck disappeared in the hurricanes. Seriously, Wild Dreams, I know now how Stephen King can write what he does. 4 rings per inch seems cheating with those macro rings you're using. See here. My first car, my burnt 1980 Ford Fiesta was from my sister, who had left for the Army, and then I drove that back and forth to school for a while. And it was like 45 minutes each way, so like 30 miles. In my sophomore year. Making a jumbo 12 gauge candy cane cord necklace. Nice. 4 rings per inch. That's funny. Before that, my sister, she had this, like, I don't know, 1960s Chrysler that my grandparents had held on to for 100 years. It was one of those big boat tank cars that they made. Like, the whole car just shifts and rocks back and forth when you take corners. That was her first car. And then in the Geo Metro, okay, so my cousin was big into wiring up cars and putting sound systems in them. And so I wanted to be cool like my cousin. He was, I think he's a year younger than me. He's now almost retired from the military. He's been in for forever. And we joined right around the same time. So he was wiring up all his vehicles with sound systems, and I went and bought, remember the CD decks where the face came off and you took it with you whenever you got out of the car? I had one of those in my Geo Metro, and I had 2 6x9s in the doors, 2 1-inch tweeters on the windshield, and then 2 12-inch subs in the back. Right, that car was bumping. Of all the things I've ever done to a car, putting in a ridiculous sound system was probably the most ridiculous. Anymore, cars come with better sound systems than what that car had, but you know, just a Geo Metro with the windows vibrating as I rolled down the street listening to my thug music in Boise, Idaho. It's a weird place where there's Boise, and then everything surrounding everything else in Idaho is rural, right? Potato farms and whatnot, and a lot of mountains and outdoorsy stuff. So I grew up doing outdoor stuff. And then once I moved away, I was never in a place that had quality outdoors stuff. My goal is to be more outdoors this summer with my kid. He's gotta learn how to ride a bike. And so we'll do that, and then go on little family rides, ideally. But there's no other neighbor kids in our street that are his age, and none of the kids around here go to his school, except, well, there's one neighbor kid, but he's almost 14. He's a good kid. He comes over and babysits every now and then, but he doesn't want to, you know, he's 14. He likes babysitting Colton, but he doesn't want to hang out with him all the time, you know? So, and then of course, last 2 years of COVID, and now we're looking at global recession, and it's like, I'm just going to try and get him outside for a little bit this summer. Because my dad dragged my ass up the freaking mountains in Idaho when I was a little bit older than Colton, but I had spent every waking moment outside running around our neighborhood, riding our bikes around. So it's unfortunate, but about the most time my kid gets outside is after school. He wants to go run around on the playground at school and play with his friends. And then on the weekend, if we have time, and the weather permits. That's the other thing up here too, right? You can't do anything for a good 6 months out of the year just because it's too cold outside. So, anyway. We'll get there. I need him to spend more time outside and not on his phone, because the high school right around the corner from my house, where the kids dart out in front of cars and everything, and I realized that I made a post talking about how idiotic these kids are, right? And here's the difference. And I may have mentioned this before, I don't remember. But the kids who were darting out in front of me, the difference between me and when I ran across the street as a kid, and the kids darting out in front of me, is that it's very apparent that these kids have no survival instinct. They're not trying to dodge the cars. They're looking at their phones and walking out in front of vehicles expecting them to stop. It's like, I had one incident where I saw the girl come out of the corner of my eye. I slammed on the brakes and she ran into my truck. She wasn't watching what she was doing at all. It's like okay, yeah, I ran across the street in front of cars as a kid. But I also looked both ways. Used to annoy all the techno heads. You had two 6-inch in the front, my car, two 6x9s in the back, and two 13-inch Alpine bass boxes in the trunk. Yeah, used to play death metal and cruising hangouts. Nice. That is very similar to what I had. So, yeah, I'm going to spend the rest of the week finishing up the app. Should be ready to go here pretty soon. Work on formatting a couple of the pages and then making sure everything works correctly. And as soon as it's up, I will let everyone know. But I'm very happy with the amount of work I got done today. So, I'm not very good with design, and getting that front page looking the way I wanted It looked much better than what I was expecting I could do. So if you haven't seen the front page, you can check out my profile. There's the app I'm working on. The front page will look like that when it comes available. So, and then it's just a big step towards getting the app done and being able to move on to other projects. Namely, getting stuff back in the MailleWerX store and figuring out how I'm going to survive here in the coming months, since, you know, since I don't have a job anymore. Alright, let's have a look here. Let me get this stuff cleaned up. Man, I can't believe... I realize that I'm using the black rings to go around and define where the gold scrolls go over each other, right? And then I have to take a ring out to put a black ring in. But it's incredibly time consuming. Alright. Alright, so we just got this little piece worked in there. Right, and all that's left is right here. That's all the gold. And then gonna wait on some more black rings to get in. Right? And we'll outline everything else. And then start moving forward on the project. This is good progress to getting a lot of this stuff done. I'm super happy about it. It looks so much better. Even without all the black rings lining everything, it looks better. Alright, so we'll probably do something else tomorrow night. Just gonna order some more black rings and wait till those come in. In the meantime, we'll work on some of the projects I have laying around that need to be worked on. Alright. Alright guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I do appreciate you being here with all your comments and engagement and just helping me not suffer through this alone by myself. I do appreciate y'all being here. In the meantime, be sure to check out MailleWerX.com for all your chainmail themed apparel and accessory needs. And excuse me. I will see you guys tomorrow night. Okay? You guys all have a wonderful evening. Right at the end of the stream, my throat just decided to kill me. Anyway. Alright. Okay, you guys have a wonderful evening. I'm gonna go get a drink of water. Alright? Bye.